Do you believe in ghosts? Annie continued. Sometimes my protests caused fights between them. I wanted to be together. My mother blamed my father for this situation, and he blamed my mother. My father knew that my mother was a cold and indifferent person towards her family, that she was always busy with her friends on Telegram and the internet, and that her workplace was hot and she didn't care about her and me. And my mother also said, if she would travel less and stay home more, we would have a better life. Both of them argued that they were doing all this to make me and my family happy. But worse, they ruined everything. I also started thinking about finding a job and new friends and getting out of this loneliness. One of my new friends was you. And in the end, being friends with you meant going to the cemetery. I said, maybe if my hatred of humans wasn't due to being rejected, our relationship would be better than it was. I'm trying to get on better terms with these two friends of yours. Do you know their names? I know the name of the girl who lives on this street, Argavan. We met a few times and I saw her sometimes in high school. We weren't that close. But she's a happy and lively girl and does sports professionally. I wish I could get to know her better. I said, now that you're here, you'd better come stay with us, it doesn't matter to you. Annie. Okay. She showed us Argavan and her friend. I assigned 2 of the kids to take care of them. Una turned to Rem and said, there was a guard in that house. Damn, it hurt so much. I couldn't find the book. Rem, she should still be there. Otherwise what would a guard do there? There was a force there. Someone went into that house before us. A force? The girl had a connection with someone like us, who knew about the book and gave her that necklace for that reason. Rem, you're right. But why should she give a necklace to a girl who is acting against herself? Yona, I don't know. With that book, she opened the gate and brought Daniel back. With her power. She controls the world and we share in this power. Argavan and Nina went to Argavan's house after high school closed. A girl passed by them. Argavan paused for a moment. She looked very familiar to her. A girl with ponytail hair, a shirt and jeans. Was she Annie? She looked again. She was sure it was her, but Annie was dead. Maybe there was someone very similar to her. Nina looked at the faces of Argavan and the girl walking down the street and asked, is something wrong? Why are you looking at her like that? Argavan paused and said, that girl is Annie. I'm sure it's her. Annie? The one who died. Nina looked at her carefully this time. Argavan gathered her courage and said loudly, Annie? The girl turned to her, winked and laughed. They looked at each other, both ran towards her. The girl didn't run away. She didn't disappear either. Argavan glared at her and then said, you're Annie, right? Where do you live? The girl pointed in a direction and said, that house a few steps ahead. Argavan, but you, we're at the grave. Annie, that's right, I'm dead. Argwan and Nina looked at each other in amazement and fear. Nina said with a tremor in her voice, what was written in the newspaper? You were killed by demons. Annie, it's all true. But not demons, but a banished angel. Argwan asked quietly, can I touch you? Annie laughed and took Argwan's hand. Argwan looked at her in amazement for a while. My God. And she started to cry. Annie put her hand on Argwan's cheek. That's my old house and my home is somewhere else, but we'll see each other again. I have to go. She left them and continued walking. Argwan and Nina watched her go in silence.